The DLSS 5 drama has officially reached its boiling point, as Nvidia straight up admits that this DLSS 5 is just a 2D AI filter. They actually did just straight up admit it. Let's get into it. Alright, this is video number 5 on the DLSS 5 drama, and holy crap, every single time I say it can't get any worse, it turns out to get even worse. Okay, quick recap for anyone that's not familiar. Nvidia announced DLSS 5, which is supposed to be a graphical upscaling software, but it actually turned out to look like a really crappy AI filter that you would see on TikTok, and everyone collectively made fun of it for ruining the artistic directions of various video games and giving them a homogenized, generic AI aesthetic. The CEO of Nvidia decided to step in and say, oh hey, nah bro, it's not just AI slop, it's totally unique and it's epic. And now, literally days later, here we are, and yeah, they just straight up copped out to it. Forgive me if I sound a little bit melodramatic here, but I am gonna commit to saying this. Boys, this is no longer just weird tech drama. This is now officially an industry-wide scandal. Up until now, the entire narrative was just us, the gamers, being suspicious and confused. The developers just being annoyed or honestly looking for an excuse to point and laugh at these guys, as Nvidia constantly kept insisting that we were just misunderstanding things. But now, things are different, as IGN has officially confirmed that Nvidia just straight up said that, well yeah, we're just redrawing over game graphics with our AI slop. And yeah, they are caught red-handed. Let's read this article. Nvidia announced DLSS 5 on Monday, which was swiftly followed by immediate backlash from gamers and developers alike. And while Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang has claimed people are wrong about their distaste for the fledgling technology, Team Green has released some comments that have clarified what it does, for better or worse. And I want to get on that. I really want to get on Jensen Huang desperately trying to cope, because he's the CEO of this dumpy-ass company desperately trying to save face. But no, I don't want to ADD too hard, let's just read this article. In a statement to YouTuber Daniel Owen, Jacob Freeman, GeForce evangelist for Nvidia, clarified some of the finer points about how DLSS 5 actually works. And, just like Death Stranding 2 animator Mike York suggested, it seems that the algorithm is just taking frames from the game, along with some motion vector data, and drawing a new image that's pasted on top. When Owen asked whether or not the model is just taking a rendered frame as input, Freeman responded, yes, DLSS 5 takes a 2D frame plus motion vectors as input. Then he clarified, DLSS 5 is trained end-to-end to understand complex scene semantics such as characters, hair, fabric, and translucent skin, along with environmental lighting conditions like front-lit, backlit, or overcast, all by analyzing a single frame. Nvidia has made the claim about complex scene semantics before, but because the model is only taking the rendered frame and motion data as input, it has no way to know definitely the values given to various in-game objects by the developers, which by the way is literally exactly how AI image generation works for artwork, how AI-based filters work on TikTok and Instagram, and more. If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, what the fuck is it? We are not stupid. Gamers are not stupid, bro. Game developers are not stupid. Boys, these stupid-ass CEOs living in their goddamn ivory tower, living in their own sad little bubble of financial superiority, these dudes swear that we're dumb as hell. Owen was told the same thing I've been told by Nvidia too, that developers will have detailed controls such as intensity and color grading. Artists can use these controls to adjust global contrast, saturation, and gamma, and determine where and how enhancements are applied to maintain the game's unique aesthetic. But given what Nvidia has shared about how the model works, these controls seem limited to the kind of sliders you'd find in Adobe Lightroom. And yeah, that's honestly exactly what I was thinking. The way I have it, the way I'm picturing it in my head, I imagine it'd be about as simple as like, you know how in Bethesda character creator games where you have sliders where you can choose whether or not, oh hey, is your nose big or small, and there's a slider to adjust the size of it? That's basically how I was imagining it. And I'm sure that's exactly what it's going to look like in actual practice. For almost a decade now, with ray tracing's debut on the RTX 2080, Nvidia has been on this quest to maximize realism in video games, and obviously that hasn't changed here. Team Green seems obsessed with making games look as much like its admittedly impressive tech demos as possible. DLSS 5 seems to just be on the latest step in that quest. But while some of what DLSS 5 is doing is impressive, it smashes through artistic intent in order to get there. Sure, the lighting is better in some of the samples Nvidia has presented, but is that added detail worth it if every character gets passed through a yassification filter? I don't think it is. You see, ray tracing works so well with a game's aesthetic because it's worked into the game's engines by necessity. That means that it only does what the art team wants it to do, because it's baked into the engine. From what it seems, DLSS 5 looks to do a rush job on game beautification, only taking a finished frame and essentially running it through ChatGPT to make it look more realistic. And again, that's basically exactly what's going on, because that is the fundamental that is the foundation of how all AI-based art filters work. That is just that's not just what it seems. That's straight up just what's happening, bro. Nvidia has argued against this, saying that the game's geometry isn't being changed by the algorithm, but that doesn't matter. Leaving the source alone doesn't mean anything if you're just pasting a new image on top of it. I have no doubt that as DLSS 5 matures over the next few months, it's going to get more accurate and make less drastic changes to the original aesthetic, but unless Nvidia goes back to the drawing board with how it's implemented, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be competent either. It's always going to make some kind of mistake that's going to screw with the overall aesthetic. From the beginning, I thought that DLSS has been a positive force for PC gaming, even if it's had a couple of wrong turns here and there. Originally, I thought it would be a great way for folks with less powerful hardware to be able to run games that would have been shut off to them in the past. But over the last few years, at least since the RTX 4090 came out in 2022, it has seemed like the opposite has been true. Instead of trying to expand what has been possible on lower-end hardware, features like frame generation have instead been reaching incredibly high frame rates on high-end monitors. Hell, Nvidia itself doesn't even recommend turning on frame generation unless you're already getting excellent performance. DLSS 5 is just the next step in DLSS spiral into decadence, and it wasn't surprising that the new feature needed two RTX 5090s to run, because instead of focusing on maximizing performance, this is just another feature that's going to run best on the most expensive graphic cards, while the prices will inevitably rise on less powerful GPUs. Sure, Nvidia will continue to train the model over the next few months, and it will get fast enough to run on a single GPU, but you better believe that you're gonna need a boatload of VRAM to run it well, and it's not like that stuff grows on trees right now, as I'm sure anyone watching this video knows. That's the end of this article, but I just can't get over how the friggin' CEO of Nvidia, Jensen Huang, went out of his way to say, oh hey, we're all wrong about what we said. DLSS 5 uses controllability of the geometry and textures and everything about the game with generative AI. It's not post-processing and all this buzzword bullshit. And then 5 seconds later, you literally find out that this is just point from point an AI TikTok filter. Those are my thoughts. What are y'all's? Whatever it is, be sure to tell me in the comment section. And don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. That's gonna be all for this video, boys. This is Blacklight Jack signing out. You guys have a good one.